Hey Merfolk fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me. Lately I've been uploading exclusively leagues, sort of clumps of 5 matches at a time, but sometimes I just have a match that goes so well, that is just so enjoyable, that I feel like I should share it with you guys, even if the rest of the league wasn't that interesting. Like maybe I won against a few mulligans to 4, and you guys don't need to see that stuff, but there's no reason you shouldn't see the really fun stuff. So this might be the first in a series of videos I'm going to call Merfolk Smash, where we just do our thing against a number of different modern decks. So first up to the plate today is Bant Eldrazi. So the opponent won the die roll, and I'm giving away the result at the beginning. This guy just gets destroyed. So this is an easy keep. I don't know what deck I'm playing against, but you guys should know, especially on the draw, this is an easy keep in the blind. Opponent kept his 7. So if I upload a video like this where I just kind of smash the opponent, I wouldn't do it if the opponent, again, mulligan to 5 or just had nothing. But in this case, the Eldrazi opponent had stuff. He had plays. I just had much better plays. So let's just see how it goes. Okay, opens up Noble Hierarch. Drawing that land was spectacular because now my seas are going to be online. Open island into AEther Vial. It's clear to the opponent what I'm playing, but it's not clear to me what he's playing yet. This could be any number of things. Opponent's going to start off by going with Noble Hierarch beats. Makes me feel better. He could have gone with Eldrazi Temple into Thought-Knot or something like that. So Windswept and pass. All right. For my turn, I'll just tick up the AEther Vial. Didn't draw land, so my only choice this turn is to lead with Spreading Seas. Hoping to draw land here. Didn't quite get there, but Master Waves is pretty good. It's got some pretty potent stuff here with 2 Reejereys and 2 Masters. We're just hoping that we're going to have time to develop the board. Very happy to have this AEther Vial ticking up alongside these 2 lands. At the end step, the opponent gets a tapped Temple Garden. I still have no idea what I'm playing against. Another Forest, another Noble Hierarch. So pretty slow opening for both decks here. I've got no pressure. He's probably going to swing for 2 here. All right, getting in with the beats. I'm going to bluff AEther Vial here. I don't know what I was expecting, but I just felt like being a little bit silly. Waste everybody's time. All right, I'm going to take my 2 from Noble Hierarch, and yeah, it looks like I might be representing Path here, so I've got to keep that in mind. But we don't have any creatures on the board yet, so nothing to worry about. All right, so at this point, with the Path up, I feel like it's probably not smart to run out Reejerey. Although with all this gas in my hand and having just drawn a land, I'm not sure how much it matters if Reejerey gets pathed. We might actually want that to ramp us into Master of Waves. But I'm going to choose to just hit his Temple Garden here. Extra Devotion for Master of Waves couldn't hurt. And we're going to be able to put these Reejereys into play using the lands in AEther Vial anyway. So let's go ahead and open up with Spreading Seas. He's going to float white, which is going to encourage me to go to my next main phase so that he has to empty his mana pool. So I'll play my Cavern, move to the main phase. I didn't want to bring in Harbinger and bounce Noble Hierarch, only to have my Harbinger get pathed with the white mana. Sure, it would be nice, I guess, to draw a path to exile on a Harbinger, but I'd rather just not let the opponent use his mana. So in my second main phase, I'm going to bounce this Noble Hierarch. Still don't know what the opponent is playing, but there's an Eldrazi Temple, so that's a dead giveaway. So that brings them straight up to 6 mana. They get to use some of my blue mana to help them cast their 6-drop, Drowner of Hope. Alright, so a little bit scary, but with all the gas in my hand, I'm not that frightened at this point. Now if they follow up with just bomb after bomb after bomb, things might start to be more frightening, but as it stands, a single Drowner of Hope, not that scary. Alright, so AEther Vial clearly getting ticked up here for my handful of 3-drops and 4-drops. So we will tick up our AEther Vial. And Dismember actually is beautiful. Do you guys see the line here that I should take? Obviously can't get to Master of Waves this turn, but if we start off by bringing in a Reejerey, we can cast the other one and untap a land. So I'm going to bring in a Reejerey, and Dismember actually is beautiful. Do you guys see the line here that I should take? Obviously can't get to Master of Waves this turn, but if we start off by bringing in a Reejerey, we can cast the other one and untap a land. Untapping the land will let us dismember the opponent's 6-drop. What a blowout. So I'm going to attack with the Harbinger. He could follow up with like Reality Smasher or something, but I'm still at a pretty high life total. And I feel like I want to start doing damage. Next turn is going to be a little bit absurd because I can start to bring in my Master of Waves. Alright, opponent plays a Brushland. So 3 mana for an Eldrazi Sky Spawner. I haven't seen Bant Eldrazi in a while. I forgot about these silly cards that they play. Eldrazi Sky Spawner. Now, all of these guys are devoid, so important to note that Ceremonious Rejection can hit even Eldrazi that costs colored mana. So Eldrazi Sky Spawner into Hierarch. Okay, going to attacks. Okay, so getting pretty aggressive with Noble Hierarch. He's going to get double exalted, or she's going to get double exalted triggers. Opponent's clearly trying to bait me into blocking with a Reejerey, but this is a pretty strong representation that he's got Path to Exile up. So I'm happy enough just to take 2 damage. Absolutely not going to lose both of my Reejereys right now. Alright, so going to my turn, I'm really hoping to draw land here because this would enable one of the most absurd things I think I've ever been able to do with Merfolk, which would be to vial in 1 Master of Waves, cast another Master of Waves, use a Reejerey trigger to untap the Aether Vial and bring in another Master of Waves. So, we are hoping for land. It would have been cool if the opponent pathed one of my Reejereys or something on his own turn, giving me the land, but that would have been silly for him. Well, there's the land, so I think about casting first to get these untapped triggers, but I guess I could have actually done this smarter. I think I did do the Vial first. If I cast first, he goes on to the battlefield. I'd get the cast. No, well, let's see. Yeah, I think I can get more triggers in the end from, or more tokens. Let's see. So I decided to start casting, but then ultimately I went with Aether Vial. So I'm going to try to think through this, guys. So if I cast a Master of Waves first, the 2 Reejerey triggers would go on the stack. In response to one of the Reejerey triggers, I would need to activate Aether Vial. And then bring it in. 1 Master of Waves. You know, in the end, I don't think it matters, right? Because they're all going to enter separately, and they're all going to eventually see the other ones. So I don't think 2 can enter at the same time. It just doesn't work that way. So I'm just going to keep going with this because it's pretty exciting. So I could have chosen a number of options here with my tap triggers. Obviously, I'm going to untap Aether Vial, but then with the other one, I just wanted to show the opponent that I know he has a path. So tap his Brushlands, force him to get the white mana floated, takes him down to 14, and then he just paths right now, hits that Master of Waves. That will get me another land. Okay, so I'm not going to untap the Brushland, but I am going to untap the Aether Vial. No need to activate the Aether Vial just yet, but 7 tokens here, and I would get 8 more with the next Master of Waves. So just go to combat. I guess it's a pretty strong representation that I do have another Master of Waves. The opponent doesn't know if I'm bluffing or not at this point. If I wasn't bluffing, odds are I'd probably just tap down some of his creatures to have more effective attacks right now. Just going to attack with these guys. I really don't care if he tries to eat one of my Reejereys with any number of double or triple blocks, but it looks like he's just chumping here. I have no idea what kind of outs the opponent can draw into, potentially just another Path to Exile. And at that point, he scooped. So as I mentioned, Bant Eldrazi kind of doing their thing. Pretty slow opening, but then again, I had a pretty slow opening also. They were getting an early damage with Hierarchs, followed up with Drowner of Hope way before turn 6. Had a Path to Exile to deal with one of my creatures, so I don't feel too bad beating up on the opponent in that game. He had cards. Let's go to game 2. Again, you guys know that I won. It's just for entertainment purpose to see the spectacular manner in which Merfolk got there. So the opponent kept 7 again. And this is pretty clearly an easy keep. So the opponent opens with a tapped Hallowed Fountain. Again, pretty slow. That Dismember just made the hand that much better. Open with Island into AEther Vial. Now, not knowing what the opponent is going to do next turn, we have a beautiful array of options. We have Spreading Seas, Ceremonious Rejection, and Dismember. All available, all at our fingertips. Eldrazi Temple. So I'm thinking Matter Reshaper, but let's see. I think it was actually Eldrazi Displacer. I'm actually much more afraid of this guy than of Matter Reshaper. There was an Eldrazi, a green-white Eldrazi list that I saw recently that ran Eternal Witness and Eldrazi Displacer, which is a pretty sick combo because for every 3 mana they spend, they get to bounce, to flash, what is the word? To blink Eternal Witness and just keep getting back all the cards from their graveyard. So this guy, with Thought Knot, can be totally gross, can just keep taking my best card out of my hand. So for my turn, I'm going to take AEther Vial up. Now I had to think for a moment about what I wanted to do here. I could Spreading Seas, his Eldrazi Temple, try to slow him down, draw a card, give me more options, give me another land, help me figure out what I want to do with AEther Vial, potentially lure this guy into an attack, and then bounce him next turn with the Harbinger. But in the end, it seemed pretty straightforward. I'm going to Dismember this guy. As I mentioned, he can be pretty annoying, and leave up Ceremonious Rejection to hopefully hit one of their big spells next turn. So I Dismember the Eldrazi Displacer, and the opponent's probably thinking, ha, this chump is wasting his Dismember on my little Eldrazi Displacer. I'm going to follow up with a Thought Knot Seer. So clicking through all of this stuff, and there he is, the Thought Knot Seer, right on turn 3, and I chose well, because I get to use my mana perfectly efficiently, dealing with a 3-drop and a 4-drop with 2 1-mana spells. Actually, one of the lands being colorless, so just ultra efficient, breaking the opponent's spirit. Get to tick my AEther Vial up to 2, drew a 3rd land. Again, sort of an embarrassment of riches as far as options go. Though I think it is time to take him off of the Eldrazi Temple, so I'll probably lead with Spreading Seas and see what I draw. Lord is pretty good. I don't need to rush. I have a land to play this turn, so I don't need to bring in Silvergill Adept to hopefully draw into land. So I'm going to leave this up in case he goes like another Eldrazi Temple into Reality Smasher. Then I could just bounce him back to his hand with Harbinger. Alright, opponent has a Noble Hierarch this turn. And looks like he's just passing the turn. So in the end step, I'm going to bring in Silvergill Adept, draw another card, and hopefully start attacking next turn. Another Silvergill Adept. Super solid. Since I have so many 2-drops, I'm going to keep the AEther Vial on 2 for the time being. So this is just getting, or going from absurd to extra absurd. Kira is amazing in this matchup, and after having shut down the opponent's opening, Kira can just totally protect my development for the rest of the game. Unfortunately, I did keep AEther Vial on 2, and I don't have a second blue source that I can cast Kira with. So I'm actually going to tap AEther Vial now in an attempt to draw into that second blue source. We whiffed, but only to hit another Island Walk Lord. So I think the play here is actually, I can play out Reejerey and go for attacks. If the opponent does have a path, he'll give me that second blue source that I need for Kira. And then I can just start dropping Lords with AEther Vial. Alright, so we're going to swing with Silvergill Adept. Opponent does have the path. We do get our second blue source for Kira. The opponent's going to take 2 from Silvergill Adept and plays out a Cavern of Souls, naming Eldrazi. So far we've seen an Eldrazi Displacer, a Thought Knot Seer, and now a Reality Smasher. I'm sitting comfortably at 16 life, the only damage having been dealt to myself through Dismember. So I'm not too afraid of this guy. He does have Exalted triggers. Now, it's fun to think back about times when Exalted Reality Smashers would have been like the bane of my existence. Like, how can I possibly beat this thing? But sometimes things go your way, and I have to say that Ceremonious Rejection has gone a long way towards helping against a lot of matchups in Modern. All Eldrazi decks among those that are now much better. So we're going to take 6, go all the way down to 10. Still going to leave this at 2 because we do have 3 2-drops in hand and can potentially draw into more. So, drew into another one. We do have Spreading Seas online, and I think I'm going to lead with this Kira. So I was building up to her all of last turn. Really want to get her on the table. Even if the opponent has 2 removal spells right now, there's really not much he can do to stop me. Let me go straight to attacks. Sitting at 10, I realize I have this Harbinger here. If the opponent comes at me with 2 Reality Smashers next turn, threatening some kind of lethal, even through like a chump with Kira, then, I mean, it's obviously not lethal because I could chump with Kira if I needed to, but I do have Harbinger up. So the only thing that I'm thinking about here is sometimes you pass the turn in the hopes of catching the opponent during their attack step with Harbinger, but they'll cast a first main phase Thought-Knot Seer, and they'll take your Harbinger out of your hand and then go to attacks, which can be sort of backbreaking, at least in a situation where I don't have 3 Lords in my hand other than the Harbinger. So after attacking with the Silvergill Adepts, I just do a little bit of quick math and realize that if I bounce the opponent's Reality Smasher right now, the best he can do next turn is tap out to get him back on the table and do 6 damage to me. If I don't block, right, but I could always block. So I'm going to activate AEther Vial now, bring the Harbinger out, targeting the Reality Smasher. And again, if the opponent, say he has, I don't even know, a land and a Path to Exile, right? Well, no land, this is a double Path to Exile, right? He can tap out and play Reality Smasher, or he can double path one of my creatures. Either way, like, there's no way he's getting anywhere. So at that point, the opponent scooped, and it was just one of the bigger blowouts that I've had in recent memory. And it's fun sometimes just to revel in how good our deck can be. You know, again, the opponent had a 3-drop on turn 2 that I dismembered, a 4-drop on turn 3 ahead of the curve that I countered. He had a 5-drop on turn 4, which I didn't really care about. He did Path to Exile one of my Lords. I think he hit Reejerey. But yeah, we just utterly destroyed them. It was just, like, through all of that amazingness, we just totally crushed them. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please share any comments you might have. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.